Okay. Hello, everyone. So I was looking in the chat and it's fantastic to see we have people here from Brazil, Alabama, Dallas, Georgia, um, San Francisco, from all over. So like I was saying in the chat, the bubble ecosystem is global and it's large. And so I'm really excited to have all of you here tonight because you are really in for a treat. So my name is Nicole and I lead founder inclusion efforts here at Bubble. And I'm really excited to have you guys here tonight because it's a culmination of an amazing 10 weeks with these phenomenal founders that are here tonight. And so I'm going to tell you a bit about sort of my intro to this ecosystem. So almost a year ago to date, I was sitting on the other side of this aisle in the same position as the founders because I had gone through an 18-month journey where I was trying to figure out how I was going to build a solution to this problem that I was obsessed with. So I spent some time in West Africa doing marketing strategy consulting for port authorities. And I realized that the big companies weren't really having an issue with importing and exporting. It was typically the smaller guys who were who were textile and apparel producers who were asking people in closed Facebook groups, hey, is anyone traveling to, New York City? Could you take something for me and drop it in the mail when you get there so it can get to my end client? And I said, you know what? A solution has to exist for this. How can I build something that formalizes this informal shipping network? And so I set off on a journey actually to figure out how I could build this thing. And ultimately, I went down three lanes. One, I spoke with dev agencies and I realized that I really wasn't ready to spend $20,000 to $30,000 building a solution that was just really in its beginning stages. And then I talked to freelance developers and they, much more a better pricing for sure. But I realized that not all of them had the temperament to work with a first-time founder. I had a lot of questions. I wanted to know about timeline, those kinds of things. And it just didn't make sense at the moment because I couldn't really tell the difference between a great developer and a good developer. I didn't have the skill set at the time. And so if you are in an okay network and you know some smart students, you can actually find some folks who've been coding since they were 3 years old. And I'm sure actually some of you are here tonight. And I talked to a lot of students and I learned a lot from this particular group because they were willing to provide some transparency, but they didn't have that client-side experience working with someone to develop an app. And so things were late and it just wasn't a sustainable thing. And so ultimately that led me to the Bubble ecosystem because I wanted to have the control over my app. And really that came from a conversation, really the last straw that I had with a potential developer. And I said, okay, you know what, if I spend that $45K that you're asking for to build this app, if I wanted to make a small little content change, how could I do that? And he ultimately told me that I needed to go to the GitHubs of the world and download a virtual environment in order to do that. And ultimately I said, you know what, this doesn't make any sense. I gotta find another way. And so that's what led me to Bubble. And I'm really excited to talk about this program tonight because this is where a lot of founders get stuck. If you think about all the great ideas in the world and the barriers to bring them to fruition, it tends to be technology and product. And so there are a lot of resources more than ever before actually to help founders be able to build the products that they're envisioning. And so I want to talk about what really differentiates the Immerse program from others that are out there. Mainly, we orient ourselves around product. And specifically, we help BIPOC and diverse founders build their first high fidelity MVP. And the high fidelity part is really important because like other founders, you'll tend to scrap together something. I myself put together 2 Google Forms and I did matching manually in the back end. And of course, it wasn't sustainable, but it really gave me an idea of what I needed to build and what I needed to automate once I found Bubble and once I joined the Immerse program. So the support that we provide is really oriented around this firm belief that founders are their first product managers. And that's mainly because they're the ones who are tasked when their idea, which is just a figment of their imagination, they're tasked with talking to users, coming up with a feature set, and really imagining and bringing to life this idea that they believe really solves the problem that the users are facing. And so how do we support founders? We support founders in 3 main ways. Through Bubble Core, one, which is how we teach these founders that you'll see tonight how to build visually in a visual programming way. And secondly, the product core, which is really, really important because we've found that if you're a super motivated founder and you dedicate the time to get over the learning curve to build an app, what you'll struggle with is actually the planning and strategy that goes into building an app. So what we've done in our program is we take the product management tools and techniques that you'll see maybe at an agency or at the enterprise level, and we distill them down to what a founder could use to help them understand the architecture of their app within a 10-week period before they start building. And last, we have the business core. And the business core is amazing because it's supported by a phenomenal group of Immerse mentor networks, which I'm going to show you in a moment. But we also, our product core, our business, the Bubble core actually supported by Will Erickson, who is a phenomenal Bubble developer and instructor. And really, he focuses on helping the founders to understand the best practices to build in Bubble. And then we have an Immerse mentor network. So this particular cohort has been really lucky because we've had folks come in and speak to them and talk to them about, customer acquisition and, traction, how to go about doing those things in the best way possible. And so it's been phenomenal to have this talent come into our space. And then now the reason why you're here tonight is for these founders. And so I want to shout them out because each of them have really hustled and worked really hard over the last couple of weeks. And so we have Andre from Case Prep Hero, Jose, founder of Finch, Jordan, founder of King Kofa, Milan, founder of Falon, Spencer, founder of Huddle Local. We've got Christine, founder of Charmer Capital, Harmony, founder of HMF Pattern, Jay Terrell, founder of Bookworm, Jeremy, founder of Beat Killers, Jordana, founder of Activate Space, and then last but not least, Taylor, founder of Check-In. And so in a moment, I'm going to hand it over to Emmanuel, but as I mentioned, you guys are really in for a treat. We're going to have Emmanuel talk about why he started this company in the first place, and then we'll jump into our judges who will introduce themselves, and then we will start the night with Andre from Case Prep Hero.
Good evening, everyone. It's really great to be here. So my name is Emmanuel, and I'm one of the two founders of the company. And Immerse is very much one of my favorite moments of the quarter, because this is really where we put the Bubble mission to work in the most visible way, I think. Josh and I started the company in 2012, so almost 10 years ago now, because we were in New York and we were looking around us and we could see there were like so many people trying to get their ideas off the ground, trying to start companies, and just couldn't do it because they hadn't been exposed to technology and coding young enough, or they didn't have access to capital. And we felt this was something very wrong, not just because, so it was a business opportunity, but more importantly, we feel that, when people cannot express themselves or create and have barriers to entry, this leads to bad outcome. And on the flip side, it leads to much better outcome if, people that are not from the system, outsiders, are able to express themselves and start companies and try things, because the best ideas usually come from outsiders. And so we started with that mission in 2012, and that's still very much what we're about today, in the sense that we actually have not pivoted in any way. We're still very much targeting non-technical founders, trying to get them on the platform to build product. The first years of the company were very much on the product building side of things, because to actually realize the problem is that you can build a full product, like Airbnb or Twitter without writing code. It actually takes a lot of work to get the product right. And so we did that for the first 5 years before starting building a team, and then started growing as we have over the last couple of years. And so the reason we started Immerse last year was because finally we felt we had the resources to put our resources on this mission, more than just making a product available to everyone, because anyone can get on the platform. But we felt we would have, now with Nicole, to run a program and actually support founders, minority founders, further than just by giving them a product. And so this is still very early for us. We're still trying to figure out, the best way to get to assist founders, as they get their product off the ground. But I think for this third session, we started getting to a point where we have a pretty good machine to, train people to the platform, help them beyond just, building the product through the different speakers and the programming that Nicole has mentioned, and then really take them to the next level. What I'm hoping to see tonight and out of any cohort is many businesses actually being able either to start being profitable and grow on their revenue, or raise money. And if they raise money, trying to get this as big as possible. And what I want to say is that we're really here, this is the beginning of the story for most people here. Like usually people use Bubble at the early stage of their startups. And so we're hoping to really be with them along the way as they grow, because, now with the internet, there is so many opportunities anywhere in the world that our Immerse fellows today can capture with their product, and that we hope to be with them as they go through that. So just want to thank everyone for coming. I see we're almost like 200 people watching this live from all over the world. So, when you started a company, just Josh and I, it was the two of us for 5 years. This is a very moving thing, when you see such an engagement behind something we've created. And so I want to thank everyone. This is very much appreciated that everyone is watching here. And I want to say good luck to everyone, to our fellows here, and let the best products win. And I'm very looking forward to seeing what people have to show.
And next, our judges will introduce themselves, starting with Nancy from Metro Speedy.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Nicole, very much. Hi, I'm Nancy Curran. I am the founder and CEO of Metro Speedy. We're a New York-based B2B focused software and service company in the last mile same-day delivery space. As a non-tech founder myself, it's really great to see a company like Bubble be at the forefront of democratizing the ability to build tech without being a tech founder. So I'm super excited to be a part of today's event, and best of luck to all the finalists today.
Thank you, Nancy. And next up, we have Dal, the founder of Aquagenuity.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Lavont. I'm the founder and CEO of Aquagenuity, where water meets ingenuity, and we use data to help consumers, corporations, and smart cities understand what's in your water in real time from platforms and devices you already use every day. This journey started for me back when Flint kind of hit national and international headlines, and then I ended up doing research and giving a TED Talk, sharing the fact that there are almost 4,000 locations in the US with more lead in their water than Flint, Michigan. And from me sharing that story and sharing how that affected my family personally and really setting out to solve this problem, we built a data engine. We started getting awards. NASA called, and Google called, the United Nations called, and Oprah called. And it's been a really amazing journey as a founder, just solving the biggest problem we could possibly solve and building a technology that could serve millions of people. So I applaud every founder on this call and in the pitch competition tonight, and good luck to everybody, and I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you, Dal. And so now we're going to get into the core of why all of you guys are here today. First up to demo tonight is Andre, and he is the founder of Case Prep Hero. Go ahead, Andre.
Good evening. My name is Andre, and I'm the founder of Case Prep Hero, the most realistic way to independently practice consulting case interviews. Several years ago, in my first year of business school, I was introduced to the consulting case interview. And my initial impression was, wow, this is a really difficult skill to master, and I wish I could find a better way to practice this. Now, the question you might be asking is, why is it so difficult to practice consulting case interviews? And the reason is that the interviews are dynamic. So there's no set list of questions or a specific order of questions. So for example, a common case interview prompt is, company X has experienced a decline in profit, and how would you as a consultant help them turn the situation around? And what follows is a back and forth with the interviewer where you'll ask questions and receive information that may or may not be helpful in driving towards a solution. For example, you might ask for and receive a ton of sales data and spend the whole interview analyzing this data when the actual issue is caused by the expense side of the business. And the only way for you to get to the bottom of the situation is by asking questions, receiving information from the interviewer, analyzing that information, and then choosing the next step forward based on that analysis. Now, the best way to practice case interviews is to work with a current or former consultant. And by doing this, you'll have the most realistic experience and get unbiased feedback. The downside is that consultants often charge as much as $300 per hour, which can be cost prohibitive. Now, practicing with friends can sometimes be a reasonable option, but most people don't have a set of friends with the necessary experience that also have the time to spend mock interviewing. Additionally, it may be harder to get unbiased feedback from friends. And then lastly, practicing using written cases in books is problematic because there's really no way to hide the answer. So you'd need to read through the whole case solution to determine if the information you're requesting is available. And in that process, you'd see the answer to the case. So my solution to this situation is Case Prep Hero. Similar to an actual case interview, Case Prep Hero allows users to traverse multiple different paths along the way to either correctly or incorrectly completing the case. Users are able to select cases of varying difficulty levels to get effective practice for everything from internship interviews to post-MBA roles. And then lastly, we provide custom analytics to help users identify areas of weakness to focus on. And this is done by providing a descriptive tag on each case that's initially invisible to the user, because we wouldn't want them to know that this particular case is about M&A or supply chain at its core. But after they complete the case, they can see their average score by the descriptive tag or by industry and by difficulty level. So now, after 10 weeks of working through the Immerse program, Case Prep Hero is now live. And my ask for you is to try a free case at caseprephero.com. You'll just need to log in, and then you can try a number of free cases. Share it with the people in your network who are preparing for job interviews. And please send any feedback to info@caseprephero.com. And now, before we get into the demo, I'd like to thank you all for attending. I also want to thank the Bubble leadership for having the vision for the Immerse program. And I'd like to say a special thanks to Nicole and Will for providing such valuable content, mentorship, and insights over the past 10 weeks. And now, without further ado, here is the demo for Case Prep Hero. See our marketing copy here. You'll see a video where you can see a demo, you'll see the pricing model, and you'll also be able to get started here. When you log in, you'll come to the home page here where you'll see all the cases that you're entitled to given your subscription level, and you have the ability to sort based on various options, including difficulty level. When you start a case, you'll typically see a picture at the top, or either a screenshot with some data or charts and metrics for you to interpret. You'll see a question here, and then you'll have several different answer choices. So these answer choices allow you to go down different paths to solve the case. So for example, here, if we ask a question, you might want to understand the expected life of a golf ball, and we'll continue to incorporate these things into our analysis as we build towards our final recommendation. After you finish, you'll be directed to the results page where you'll see the total number of cases, the most recent case completed, the average score, the median score, and your average difficulty level. And for each case, you'll see a summary here describing the topics that are covered in the score and the difficulty level. And you'll also get to click through and see the result of every question that you answered. And so you'll see, when you scroll to the right here, you'll see the correct answer and the explanation. And again, obviously, not all questions have some scoring, so you'll see some that are in A here, for example, because these are just you kind of asking questions and moving along. So when you complete that, we'll go to the reports and analytics page. And so here you can see the number of cases you completed, but you can also see things like the average score by industries. You can identify weak areas that you might want to strengthen before an interview. You can also do this by subject area. So you can see here that this particular user has some areas of improvement in supply chain, maybe in a new product, but it really is really strong in probability and strategy. And then you also see by difficulty level. Lastly, you have the ability to create a case, and so that would give us some B2B plays where people could create their own cases. So thank you for watching this demo. Turn interviews into offers with Case Prep Hero.
Okay, now we'll have a 5-minute Q&A, and that will follow for each founder after this.
Sorry, Emmanuel, I couldn't hear you.
How many users have you been able to test this with?
So we launched, I guess, 5 days ago, and I actually started putting out ads. And so far we have, from that ads, we've got about 4,000 impressions, 603 clicks, 9 user signups, and 1 case started. And so my next step in that regard is going to be, I have a list of consulting clubs that I'm going to email and then work with them to get some more feedback.
I guess I'll just piggyback on Manuel. Sorry, Dal. So how do you, first of all, great presentation, great product. And I just was curious, what is your plans to scale? How do you plan to scale?
Sure. I think one of the best ways to scale, I think, for this type of thing is to start to get proficient within the paid ad landscape, because I think that with the way that it's priced, I think that, you know, if I can get that rolling and just keep funneling that into the business, that's going to be a helpful way to get users. And then the second path is going to be kind of more in person. So I attended business school, so I have networks within several friends that went to different business school programs, and then also continuing to work with their consulting clubs and scale from a kind of a word of mouth method.
Got it.
Hey,
Thanks.
Andre, great presentation. Quick two-sided question. I went to Harvard for undergrad, so this would have been amazing for us coming in as seniors and getting ready to get these, you know, consulting gigs. Great prep. Do you have any inroads into kind of from the college side of, you know, in terms of networks like schools that you're partnering with and things like that? And the second side of the question is, where do you see this? Have you tested, I guess, the prep that you guys provide inside of the app with the McKinseys and the consulting companies of the world, and what is their feedback?
Sorry, could you rephrase the last part of the question? I didn't catch that.
Have you presented your platform to the McKinseys and the big consulting firms of the world and the BCGs? What is their feedback on it?
Got you. That's a great idea. I had not thought about going down that path, so that's a fantastic idea, because I could see an aspect, because you can use this tool to create your own questions, and so I could see a company like that wanting to do it that way. Now, I thought a little bit about, with the assistance of speaking with Nicole, about presenting this to business schools to have them kind of, you know, purchase it as a package and more of a B2B play and add their own cases. But that's a great idea as well. And in terms of inroads, yes, so I have some inroads at, again, a few, I went to a couple of universities here in the DC area. And so I'm going to kind of get started down that path with kind of the local schools in the area.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andre. We're going to move on to Harmony, the founder of HMF Pattern.
Hi, my name is Harmony, and I'm the founder of HMF Pattern, a platform that connects makers with the tools they need to build a sustainable wardrobe. I've been crocheting since I was 8, and I'm just now getting to the point where I only have to buy clothes a few times a year.
Okay, Harmony, are you able to share your screen again? If not, we can come back to you.
Sorry, yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay, you can give it one more try. If not, we could just move on and come back to you at the tail end, okay? And while she's giving it a whirl, next up would be Jay from Bookworm. So Jay, you can just go ahead and prepare if we can't get Harmony back up and running again. All right, so we'll come back to you, Harmony, okay? Jay, why don't you go ahead and share your screen? And we have Jay from Bookworm.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jay, and I'm the founder of Bookworm. and we are the Fitbit for bookworm. So I've been a bookworm all my life, pretty much. I'm from a very small town called Union Springs, Alabama. We have 4 traffic lights. And I've been publishing for about 12 years. I first started while working the third shift, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. at a behavioral center, where I was basically the bodyguard for nurses. And I was bored. And I read an article on the internet one day saying that, hey, ebooks is going to be the next big thing. So I learned how to write, and it took off, and I was able to move to Chicago and write full time. But something happened, and as I got more popular, my book started to get suppressed because of the content by Amazon, and I saw my income pretty much plummet to almost nothing. So I was living in Chicago, and I needed to make money, and I thought, how about I create a service that would help authors reach readers and help readers find authors that produce the content they wanted to read. So I created queer-centric books for LGBT content. And I grew that to be over 23,000 authors and readers. And I said, wow, this is working really well. So how about I do this on a larger scale? So I created Bookworm. And the mission behind Bookworm is for folks to discover like their next great book, and for authors like myself to write their next bestseller. And one of the problems that I had as an author is I never really had insight to what my readers were actually, like how they were actually enjoying my book or how they found my book. And readers, as a reader, I didn't have insight to what I was really reading, what type of books I liked. And I wanted to provide readers with that insight and authors with those trends and reading habits so they can publish better books. So the problem, like I said, is authors couldn't really find readers and readers couldn't find authors. And you know, as an author, I would spend 60% of my time just trying to find engaged readers. And the market is so huge, it just presented a discovery challenge. And I would get readers to ask me about, hey, Jay, can you recommend this book or a book for me? I like this, but I don't like this, but it has to take place in the South with plantations. So they were very particular about what they wanted to read. And I was like, okay, I can definitely see this as a problem that I can solve. And another problem is that when users go to Amazon, readers go to Amazon, they'll search for 25 books, but they would only find one book that actually interested them, because Amazon uses this model where if you bought X, you might enjoy Y. But I wanted to give readers a lot more details and a lot more data about what they're reading. So I'm building the solution that I've always wanted. I want to be able to track what I read, what I want to read, and get stats, and so I can improve my knowledge and expand my skill set, and just find new voices that you don't really get to discover because of certain algorithms. And I want it to be powered by AI to make it completely fair for everyone. And I also wanted a sense of community where people can go and share what they're reading and with like-minded folks, and find book clubs and up-and-coming storytellers who are look like myself, but who are Black and brown. But I wanted the interface to be extremely simple and streamlined. That's what's missing, like from an app like Goodreads. So why now? Well, if you didn't know, we're kind of like in a pandemic. So in COVID, it's been hard for a lot of people mentally and physically and emotionally. But for a certain segment, it's been beneficial because indie authors, our book sales are up by 20%. And readers just want a way to escape from reality. Some people play games. I like to read books, be it horror, thrillers, or science fiction. And the market is huge. I mean, there's over 2 million books that are published every year worldwide. And you compare that to, say, 768 movies that are produced. There are better discovery engines for movies than there are for books. And 99 million people read every single day. And Goodreads, one of my competitors, they have over 90 million registered readers. So again, people read a lot. So what's our advantage? Well, I've been a product designer for over 7 years. I'm self-taught, and our secret sauce partly is the user experience. I mean, if you've used Goodreads or library, then you know that the experience is not great. It kind of sucks. And they didn't have the comprehensive library. They didn't have the reader community or the personalized recommendations. Like, okay, yeah, I bought this book on Monday, but now it's Saturday and I want something a little bit more spicy. And the tools that they offer authors, like say Goodreads, it didn't allow me to really monetize my audience or even have the data to actually write better books or explore what my readers actually wanted. So our business model is very simple. It's going to be free for users. They can pay for additional services. It's a freemium model, monthly for both readers and authors. And traction so far is I have a huge network of authors and readers. Again, 24,000 from Christopher Books. I have over 7 pen names myself. I've written over 79 books. We have a 2,000 plus waiting list for Bookworm right now. People want to get in as soon as possible. And I'm really excited to announce that we have a partnership with an amazing manga publisher out of Houston, Texas. These are Black and Brown folks. Studio Mayho. Go to them, check them out, www.studiomayho.com. They're here on the call today. Howdy, guys. And they have a readership of over 17,000 people. And they're going to be the first publisher to actually bring their community over to Bookworm and release their content on Bookworm. And if we win the 5K today, we're going to help bring in more storytellers, more indie publishers to help them actually get the community started on Bookworm. So thank you for your time. If you want to sign up for our waiting list, you can go to joinbookworm.com now, and here's what Bookworm looks like. When a user signs up for Bookworm, they are asked to add at least 3 genres or topics they would like to read. So let's go ahead and add in our genres. After that, we click Continue, and we are taken to the user dashboard. Here, I've already populated a couple of books. As you can see, these are the books that I've read, which filters down. The books I'm currently reading, the books I've yet to read, but I want to read, and books I did not finish. On the right-hand side, you can see the news that relates to the topics the user is following, and on the left side is navigation. Now let's add a book. I've added the details, and here the reader can add as much or little details as they want. What sets us apart from other book tracking services that we actually focus on diversity and as far as author inclusion. Here the user can select if the author is POC, their nationality, and if the book is part of a series or not. Rather than relying on arbitrary star ratings, we wanted to get down to the nitty-gritty of why a user enjoyed a book and what they loved and what they didn't like about a book. So here they can actually give a score from 1 to 10 on and rank, character development, atmosphere, the writing ability of the writer, the plot, if it was intriguing, if it was logical, and if they actually enjoyed it. So we see here we gave this book a 9.14. And also, if it was challenging, how fast, slow, or was the pace? And again, if they had diverse characters. This book didn't contain any trigger warnings for me, and I'm going to tag this as a book club read. We go ahead and save the book, and the book is now logged. And to view our reading stats, we can see here that I've read 2 books back in September, and so far 2 here in December. And equally, my reading method, I prefer ebooks and physical books. I've read 7 of each. Average book length is around 200 to 300 pages. And the reason why I didn't finish a book. And then last but not least, we have the genre breakdown. It looks like I'm reading mostly science fiction. So that's Bookworm. I'm excited to get this out to the masses. Thank you for your time.
Okay, go for it, judges.
Okay, I'll jump in since I'm fast and first. Thank you for this presentation. This is awesome. I love to read, so I'm excited about all of this. I'm a bookworm. Am I a bookworm?
I see.
Sure. Um, so how did you build your audience, and what is your plan to expand your audience beyond kind of organically, however you built this initial audience?
Yeah, so I took the audience from questionnaire books that I built with help of 16 other bookworms. And then I reached out to several book clubs, mostly POC book clubs, to see if if they were interested. Because I'm a part of a lot of book clubs, and I know some of the pain points that book clubs have. And I thought this could be a great service for people who run book clubs to actually get more stats about what their members are enjoying and how they can actually pull authors in as well. So there was a lot of testing out there with just expanding my network by going and talk to the publishers, indie publishers, and that's how I found Studio Mayho. Just on Twitter one day, just kind of reaching out to different people after I saw their art online, and just making those personal connections. Like I've talked to these guys for over the past year, and that we've built these relationships, and I'm building more relationships with publishers and indie publishers through just chatting and through YouTube. So the goal is to bring on new publishers, and then so they can bring their communities and also book clubs. And then also my author, I have a huge author fan base and also reader base as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So can you get a little bit deeper on the business model?
Right. So we offer this free for readers, and if readers want to actually get more like detailed stats or more type of services, then they can pay a monthly fee, and we're looking at $29 for the year, which is very cheap. So that we have different API calls that we're using, so we need to actually pay for that. And then on the author side, we're going to build tools that they can use to analyze the data, and then we're going to charge a monthly fee for those for each tool. So it's primarily it's going to be free for the readers, and then authors can actually create their own communities, and like a Patreon where they can actually charge a fee or no charge for access to the community for exclusive content. So the goal is for the authors to kind of take more control over their communities rather than rely on other folks' communities. So it's sort of like a Substack, but this is primarily for novel length and chapter length stories. And then we'll also take a percentage of those sales as well as monthly premiums.
Got it. Thank you.
Can I just jump in? I have just a quick question. Great
Sure.
presentation. How do you plan to, obviously the whole point is to maximize and optimize all people, right? So not just readers. Do you have any plan to get non-readers kind of interested in getting onto your platform?
Non-readers, like people who don't read at all?
No, I mean, people who are not, that interested in reading. I mean, obviously, is there a pathway to, getting other type of customers to your platform?
Well, I've talked to some people that I've interviewed. They told me, I don't read books. They don't read books. It's like, is it that you don't read because you haven't found the right book for you? And it comes down to people just not finding the content that speaks to them. And I think Bookworm solves their problem by, again, allowing people to choose their interests and topics, and being able to, because this is a discovery issue. Like there's so much content out there, like they don't know what's out there. And like myself, I read comics as a little boy, but I wasn't that into them. But now that I know that, hey, there are comics that actually feature people that look like me, I am actually more into comics. So it's all about finding what a person is interested in and then matching them, which, say, a Goodreads right now that just doesn't do that. It's always what's mainstream and what's popular. So I mean, this is right now we're focused on people who actually do read, and like my I guess you can say my profile customer right now reads on average of two to three books a week. And they usually read multiple books at the same time. So that's what we're going afterwards. And then the goal is to get this into school as well, and so that kids can track what they're reading. Even one of my doctors, she said this would be great for my young kids, so that she can find books that for her kid to read and also read along with her, and you just kind of create habits. So that's definitely on the table to get more people to read, because reading is fundamental.
Yeah, I agree. And that was my point. I just, I think
Yeah.
starting at the young age is very important. So if you can target those schools, I think that would be very key.
Starting those habits, and we're all talking to libraries now about getting into the schools and getting people in the habit of logging. Like me, I love tracking my music, what I listen to, the movies that I listen to, and just getting people in the habits of tracking there and making it fun for them. They earn rewards and badges, especially for kids. It can become a lifelong habit, a good habit to have, not a bad one.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jay. Next up, we have Jeremy Wells, the founder of Beat Killers.
First off, I want to thank you all for supporting me and my fellow entrepreneurs by coming to this event. My name is Jeremy Wells, and I'm the founder of Beat Killers. Beat Killers is a creator-owned marketplace that provides unlimited beats to up-and-coming rappers for only $15 a month. I like to think of it as the Netflix of beats. With our unique subscription-based model, we hope to become the #1 marketplace for beats in the next 5 years. In college, I discovered that I had a passion for rapping. Like many up-and-coming rappers, I was balling on a budget and quickly found out that paying $25 to $100 per beat gets very expensive very quickly. So I decided to start making and selling my own beats. I quickly discovered that selling beats online is very difficult. A staggering 80% of beat makers don't get paid regularly for their creations. That's why I created Beat Killers. The current beat selling model is flawed. A lot of very talented producers don't get the exposure necessary to sell their beats because they lack the marketing skills. Only a few of the big name producers get paid, while the rest are left to fight over scraps. Our marketplace has two sides, rappers and producers. Rappers will purchase a subscription to the website, while producers will supply the beats and be paid per download. Goldman Sachs has forecasted that music revenue is going to more than double to $131 billion by 2030, and currently 35% of those revenues come from hip hop music. There are roughly 4 million rappers in the United States, which creates a total addressable market of $720 million. In the future, we will also expand to dancers, videographers, or anyone else requiring hip hop beats for their projects. To gauge the interest in this idea, I conducted a Facebook ads campaign for 1 month at only $10 per day, and over 200 rappers signed up to be notified when we launch. I also surveyed 100 producers to see if they would be willing to submit their beats to our platform, and 82% said yes. Now, to get a better understanding of this opportunity, you don't have to take my word for it. Here are a few related clippings from the press. As you can see, the industry is changing rapidly, and Beat Killers is uniquely positioned to provide value to both sides of our marketplace. Now, the current businesses in this space are doing extremely well, but most of their users aren't getting paid for their creative work. This is where Beat Killers has a unique opportunity to capitalize on this underserved market. By working with us, we can guarantee producers get paid every month while they focus on what they truly love to do, making beats. Our go-to-market strategy will be focused in 2 areas, both which target the existing hip hop community on Instagram. Rappers and producers are always looking for ways to promote their music. That's why we're going to promote their music free through our Instagram page. Our goal is to introduce our company while creating community with rappers and producers. If we win the $5,000 cash prize, we will continue investing in the community with a Music Gives Back campaign where every week an up-and-coming rapper will win a cash prize and a free year membership to Beat Killers. At Beat Killers, we have an amazing team who understands our target market because we are our target market. My partners and I have not only shared a stage, but we hope to set the stage for the beat selling industry. Music has been a consistent part of my life for the past 15 years. I'm an active rapper and producer, but my interests don't stop there. I am also a seasoned entrepreneur who specializes in digital marketing, has crowdfunded a watch company, and I own a music venue. My two advisors are rappers themselves and have various skills that will help us succeed as a company. As rappers, we have firsthand knowledge of how expensive and time-consuming finding beats can be. We know beat killers can revolutionize the industry, and our aim is to turn this idea into a multi-million-dollar company. To achieve this, first we must prove the concept by onboarding 200 subscribers using our in-house catalog of beats. Next, we will begin partnering with producers. We want to average one producer for every 200 subscribers. Our goal for 2022 is to have 6,000 rappers and 30 producers by the end of the year for annual recurring revenue of over $1 million. Pardon the metaphor, but our success feels like it's already set in stone. Currently, we're looking for seasoned mentors to help guide our project and amplify our potential. Beat Killers is the future of the beat purchasing industry. We will empower rappers and producers so we can all focus on what we care about most and make more music. Thank you, and now here's the demo of the product. Everybody, welcome to Beat Killers. Now let me run you through a quick demo of the site. When a user first gets here, they probably got here from either Instagram or a Facebook ad that they saw. And once they land on this page, it's essentially like a splash page. So it's the very, very top of our sales funnel. So they can scroll down, see they can download unlimited beats. That's cool. Okay. It's only $15 per month. That's cool. They get to work with dope producers. All right, I get it. Cool. So now that I'm sold, I want to sign up for this list. They'll enter their email. Let's get started. This page, this is the sign up page. It's a sign up button. And then they enter their credit card information. Purchase. And this is their homepage essentially. The user can do pretty much anything they want from this page alone. You can play the beats. You can favorite beats. You can also click to download the beat. And once the beat has been downloaded, you'll see a little green icon that shows you that you have downloaded that beat before. All right, so up here, you can filter the beats. You can filter it by least downloaded. So that just shows you beats that not many people have downloaded. You can filter by BPM, low to high or high to low. And you can also filter by your favorites. And also you can see the navigation through here. You can go to latest beats, which is where we are now, favorites, which is kind of like what we just saw. And you can go to your settings. And if you want to, you can also delete your account as well from here. And whenever somebody deletes their account, we have a pop-up that asks them why they deleted the account so we can gather information based on making the site better. So we can click out of that. And that's it, guys. Welcome to Beat Killers.
Thank you very much for that. That's great. Can you talk about the competitive landscape? Are you the only one on this, or some other people are trying to do the
So
same thing?
that's a very great question. So currently, there are probably three main companies that sell beats online. The number one is called BeatStars, but the thing that really differentiates us is that everybody sells it like a one-off basis. There is no, it's kind of like, I think the landscape right now is like Blockbuster, essentially, like before Netflix. So like you can like rent a beat, but there's nothing that you can subscribe to where you have access to unlimited beats. So that kind of is where I came with the idea. But currently there are about three main players.
Jeremy.
Another question I was about to ask that I see someone just asked in the chat actually, like how do you deal with IP and copyright issues on the platform?
That's a very great question. So back in the day, beats were kind of an exclusive thing. Like people would, like one user would use one beat, there'd be an exclusive license. It probably costs like $1,000 to $10,000 for that beat. As time has progressed, people have gotten more relaxed with how beats are licensed. So currently at the top three sites, people can sell their beats on a non-exclusive basis. So right now people are purchasing like one beat, like maybe like 20, 30, 40, 50 people will purchase one beat. So basically what we're going to do is extend that so you can have a non-exclusive license. So everything on the site will be licensed non-exclusively.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just on, I guess I have a couple, first of all, amazing presentation. I love what you're doing. I love music, so this is right up my alley. I have a couple. So one is, how much are your producers getting paid?
So you want to ask both at the same time?
It's okay, you can answer.
Okay, so the producers are getting paid based on a model. So all the producers get, okay, so every subscriber is $15 per month. So half of that money is set aside for a producer pool. So based on how many downloads the producers get per month, they're paid from that producer pool. Does that answer your question?
It does. And that's enough to keep producers.
Yeah, so what's great about that model is it's a residual basis. So currently they might sell one beat once, but now they can sell like every time their beat's downloaded. So month to month to month, they'll make residual income off of their beats.
Got it. Okay. And how often are you adding beats?
Right now I'm adding beats about 5 per week, but it really depends on how many producers there are. I want to make sure that's why I said 200 subscribers for every one producer, because I want to make sure that producers can average about $500 to $1,000 per month. That's what I want to get to. But we'll see how it actually plays out in real life. Obviously, those are all made up imaginary numbers that I did. So we'll see how that plays out. But I want to limit the amount of producers and make sure there's enough subscribers so producers are actually making money.
Got it. Okay. I guess my last thing is just a piece of advice. Maybe, I don't know if someone's asked you about it, but your logo, is it a little bit too close to Netflix, or has
it might be, they changed their logo. It's like different. So it might be, I probably would have to talk to a lawyer about that before I really get out there, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Okay. I mean, it looks great. I'm just saying, yeah, just definitely ask someone about that. Yeah.
Sure, will do.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, judges. So Harmony, we're gonna try to see if we can get you back up and running again.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Right. Well, hello again. My name is Harmony, and I am the founder of HMF Pattern, a platform that connects makers with the tools they need to build a sustainable wardrobe. So I've been crocheting since I was 8, and I'm just now getting to the point where I only have to buy clothes a few times a year. And this is important to me because you may not know this, but the textile industry generates 1/5 of the world's industrial water pollution, and many of the clothes don't even get recycled. In fact, 3 out of 5 pieces of fast fashion clothing items ends up in a landfill. Most millennials actually consider an outfit worn more than 3 times to be old, but there's a new hope. During quarantine, Gen Z put a remix to an old trend, and hashtags like #MeMade Wardrobe started to emerge. As a more eco-conscious generation, they're already looking for ways to decrease their ecological footprint. But because they are an emerging audience, there aren't many platforms that cater to them besides Instagram and TikTok. Traditionally, crocheting and knitting is considered more of an elderly pastime, and I believe it holds the potential for sustainability, which is why my platform will be a maker's hub and provide curated seasonal designs in sync with the current fashion trends. The chat will be where members can meet, collaborate, and share their progress. The project planner will organize projects on and off the platform, and each pattern contains step-by-step instructions and video tutorials. It will be completely free to sign up, but costs $15 a month for access to the entire collection, and then $20 a month for the additional workshops and more advanced patterns. We are currently pre-launch, but since starting our Instagram platform a month ago, we've gotten 800 new followers and 700,000 content views across accounts without spending a penny. In the most popular video previewing one of the platform designs, many potential users actually reached out, gave me their contact information, and inquired about being a pattern tester, which, if you're not familiar with that term, it's when you're the one who gets to make the pattern before the designer puts it out into the market. This team is small, mean, and lean because it's just me. And if you would like to see more of me, you can reach me at my email or Instagram accounts. And now on to the product demo. So this is HMF Pattern. Right away, you get to see the offerings and the benefits of signing in and having a membership, including connecting with creators and enhancing your skill set, in addition to getting discounts and exclusive access to the H Money Factory store, where you can buy yarn and other pattern making materials. So once you've logged in, you're taken to the dashboard right away, where you can scroll through the available patterns for that season. And then you also have the option to add a project, any of the ones that you're seeing up top. And you can click in, view what it is you'll be making and the materials you need first before adding that project to your dashboard as well. So you have two options on adding that project. Once you get back to that dashboard, your added projects go into your current projects section of the dashboard, where you'll be taken step by step through whatever it is you decide to make. And so there's a video option for each one of the steps, and there's also a full view of what every step will be in order to finish a project. So you can toggle forward to the first step or back to the previous where you've left off. And in the chat is where you're able to connect with other members of the pattern community. There's different types of topics, but everybody gets added to the welcome chat upon sign in and sign up. So you can start there and also engage with other people should you decide to join other chats. So on the pattern gallery here, you're also able to see what was made on the previous seasons, and the idea is to have other makers also contribute. So that is it, and thank you.
All right, judges.
All right, then I'll start. Okay, have you thought about how to scale the business? Like, what are the way to market?
Yes, so right now I'm starting off with crochet and knitting since that's what I know, but I'm very excited about getting other forms of crafts on there like sewing, hand sewing, weaving. I think there's a lot of potential to just add incrementally other crafts. So I'm very excited about expanding that way.
Are there partnerships you can think of to start expanding the user base, or like both sides of the marketplace?
I've thought about collaborating with yarn companies. So right now they also have patterns on their sites, but they'd have no way of kind of keeping people on there. And they also probably would benefit from members directly using the yarn from the patterns on a, on a very consistent basis. So that's some of my thoughts about partnerships, definitely yarn companies.
Thank you.
And how large is your target market? Sorry.
Well, my target market right now would be knitters and crocheters. And I know that about 28 million people participate in knitting and crocheting just in the US. So I think that could be amazing as far as like how many people out of even that chunk I could target. I think that could be really have a lot of potential there.
Thank you.
My question was similar, just around not only the potential market, but have you thought any about, I guess, content marketing, meaning educating that 28 million plus around how they can use kind of crocheting and kind of turn it into an extra or a second stream of income? Have you done any work around that or any feedback around that?
I haven't done any work around it yet, but yes, I'm very interested in offering those workshops, like I was mentioning, and just having education on just different ways of crocheting, because I definitely think that there's a perception, there's like the blanket, scarves and hats, and there's like what I'm wearing now that takes a lot of time to explain, but definitely is worth it in the end and can definitely contribute to another additional income stream.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Harmony. Next up, we have Jordana, the founder of Activate Space.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jordana from Activate Space, and I rent out thousands of affordable community spaces all around the world, located in churches through an Airbnb style platform. This includes spaces like performance venues, commercial kitchens, gymnasiums, meeting rooms, and more. And I'm going to tell you a secret that I know. In Canada, churches are the largest landowners, second only to the federal government. So a lot of people don't even think about churches as real estate actors, when in fact, churches are amongst the largest and most powerful real estate actors globally. And this is the case in many countries. Wherever you're tuning in from today, this is likely the case in yours as well. So why is there so much demand for Activate Space to help rent out this massive global network of spaces? So as some of you may know, church congregations are shrinking and they're aging, which means that they have these very, very big buildings that they can no longer fill and that they can no longer pay for. And about a third of church buildings are projected to close over the next few years unless churches come up with more innovative strategies for financially maintaining their buildings. And that has increasingly come to be rentals through Activate Space. So that's where we come in. And the solution that Activate Space offers these churches that have these big old buildings they can't fill or pay for is a marketplace that unlocks the value of their excess capacity. So all this unused space they can't quite afford, tools that find tenants for them. So there are many understaffed churches who want their spaces to be filled and vibrant and financially sustainable, but they just don't have the resources to go out and find them on their own. They might have one part-time secretary working with them, so they can't do it on their own. And then we also offer simple, secure online payments and bookings, which take some of the friction out of typical church rental processes. So you don't have to call up a church and speak to someone on the phone and play phone tag if you happen to see a space that you like. On Activate Space, in 2 clicks, you have that space you want, whether it's a beautiful performance venue or a meeting room, 2 clicks and it's yours. And it's so important to note that the problem that we're solving through Activate Space is a technology problem. It's not a demand problem, because churches need to rent out these spaces every single day to keep their doors open. And people are searching for affordable spaces in increasingly unaffordable cities every single day. So I built the technology that seamlessly brings these 2 groups together in a win-win venture. And it's also very important to note that this is not a small niche thing for a small niche community. Churches, again, are amongst the largest landowners globally, and everyone, including you, can benefit from more affordable space in your local community. This is for everyone. This is not a small niche thing. And the market size. So there are 3,000 church buildings in Activate Spaces network. There are 30,000 church buildings in Canada, about 40,000 in the UK, and in the US, there are 380,000 congregations. There aren't good stats on building numbers, but that number alone tells me that the US market is massive, potentially even bigger than what there is in Canada, where I'm from and where I'm located. And in quantifying the serviceable market within that, you multiply that number of buildings. So let's take the 3K or the 30K by the availability of those buildings. And oftentimes in my own work, I've found that a lot of the churches that I work with will primarily use their building 1 hour a week on Sunday for worship, which leaves 167 other hours throughout the week that these buildings are available to be rented in various ways to help sustain the churches and provide affordable space for their communities. And when it comes to the pricing, you multiply that availability in the buildings by the pricing to figure out the serviceable market. And the pricing varies greatly across these buildings, but generally speaking, without a doubt, the price is usually just slightly lower than whatever market rate is in the community in which they're located, which means that these spaces are very, very attractive as rentals because they're actually just cheaper than every single thing in their area, which makes for a really good market opportunity and a really great market size. And in terms of traction, so I am a sought after expert in this field. This isn't just sort of an idea. I do this, and I work with a network of 3,000 churches and a range of groups that regularly need space to make up the other side of the marketplace. I've also built the MVP, thanks to Bubble, and the team. So I have a phenomenal team, which includes the moderator of the United Church of Canada, which, if you're not familiar, is sort of like the Pope of the largest Protestant denomination in the nation. So his support and his excitement around initiatives is very rarely given. So I think you can kind of understand just how big it is to have his support and enthusiasm behind this work and in making sure that his churches can be maintained as community assets while also providing affordable community spaces to broader neighborhoods. So what's next for Activate Space? We are ready to onboard the 3,000 churches in my network to the new platform, and I'll need a helping hand with that because we plan on going fast and we plan on going big. And again, this is an Airbnb-sized opportunity. This is amongst the largest landowners globally. So this is going to be huge. So if you vote for Activate Space for best demo and best pitch at no expense to you, you will be helping us do this and helping us go fast and helping us go big, which not only supports the churches, but it brings more affordable spaces to all local neighborhoods, including yours. So next time you need an affordable space, you can use Activate Space if you help vote us best pitch and demo, but I will let you be the judge of that. And please do enjoy my demo video coming up next. Thank you so much.
Is your one-stop shop for affordable spaces right in your neighborhood, located in churches. Matt here is an emerging artist who needs an 1,000-seat performance venue for his next big show. The cost of the average concert hall in Matt's neighborhood starts at $5,000. But on Activate Space, he can rent an architecturally stunning sanctuary performance venue just a few blocks away for $50. The best part, it really only takes 2 clicks. 1 click to send a booking request, and 1 click to pay. This saves Matt a ton of time and resources that he can use for more important things, like rocking his next show. And Rachel? She's an aspiring chef who has just outgrown her home kitchen. She used Activate Space to find a beautiful commercial church kitchen just a few blocks away from her house for $20. Instead of having to take on the big risk of signing a multi-year commercial lease for a restaurant space, Rachel can grow her new business with less risk with Activate Space. Luke found a gymnasium for his yoga class, and Mary found a large meeting room for her conference. Find space to launch your next big thing with Activate Space. Whatever your thing is, start up here.
I guess I'll jump in. Jordana, thank you. Great idea. I think the first thing that popped into my head was just wondering if you've thought about the impact of, how this actually impacts churches' nonprofit status.
Mhm. That's a really good question and a common misconception, because a lot of churches already do this. This is part of their routine activity. So you may have, if you've ever gone to like a community meeting located in a church, or a child's birthday party in a church multi-purpose room, or they're often used as polling stations in elections, churches commonly do rent out their spaces, and it doesn't affect their nonprofit status. And that's part of the reason why the spaces are so affordable, because of their nonprofit status, but they are free to rent out in this way. And you may have come across a church space that you've unknowingly walked into through another organization renting it out.
Great. Okay. And is it like limited use though?
It really depends from church to church. So in my work, there are churches that, I wish I had the pictures I could throw up on the screen, but there's a church that in the church basement has a wrestling federation, which is like WWF style, full everything, the lighting, the sets, the huge audiences, there's drinks, there's everything. And there are churches that have rock concerts in them. There's churches that have ballet schools in them. So it really does vary, but it's like Airbnb. So each host really decides what the rules of their space are, and they decide what they accept and don't accept. But I will say it really does run the gamut, and you will see everything in these churches.
Great. Yeah.
What kind of,
Good idea. Yep.
what kind of price point are you seeing in the market? Like, how much does it cost to rent a space?
It really varies quite a lot, but I have spaces that are as low as $5, and then spaces that go up to about $100. A lot of them are kind of in the $20 to $50 area per hour.
Per hour, okay. Yeah.
Per hour. So you can rent out, like you've kind of seen in the demo video, you could get an 1,000-seat sanctuary, which in most neighborhoods, a performance venue is like starting at $5,000. You could get that for $50 on Activate Space or less. So this is huge for like emerging artists who can't afford space. $50 instead of $5,000 to start your career.
And then where does that price come from? Is it set by the church, or it's coming from some market comparable? Because it does feel extremely low, actually. Like, are the church leaving some money on the table here?
So the churches do set the price, and I have worked with many churches on this work for many years, and I will say they do leave a lot of money on the table, but that's not their goal. Like they're not trying to like kind of extract the most money possible. They're just trying to stabilize their buildings. And that's why these spaces are so affordable and so big and so beautiful. And when I'm able to go to an emerging artist or an emerging chef who needs a kitchen and say, you can have this space for $5, I just watch their jaws drop, because they just went to a commercial restaurant space and were told it's $20,000 per month. So it's people don't believe it, but this is real. This is real.
Is anyone doing this, or are you the first mover here?
In terms of markets, I have seen like space share markets, kind of like Airbnb styles that do like space rentals for photography studios and things like that happen to have one church rental here or there, but churches are very hesitant to rent their spaces in that way. But I have a long history and I'm known to do this work. I operate in this problem space. So I have thousands and thousands of churches who trust me to do this work and who are ready to put their spaces up in this way. And it's no. To answer your question, no one else is really doing this in this way, in this marketplace way. So I'm hoping to move fast and go big, and that's why I'm ready to go.
I'll jump in really quickly. I love this model. I used to lead worship for World Changers, huge dome in Atlanta, Georgia, so I get it. Did you or do you kind of coach the churches in terms of how this could be a long-term revenue stream, or kind of what's the hook for them offering their space up, because it might seem small compared to their annual budget? And then because I feel, and also, are you kind of geo specific or are you nationwide already?
So a lot of the churches that I work with, like, this is the way that they sustain their buildings. They maintain themselves as community assets that people can rent at affordable rates, and they see this as part of their ministry. This ministry of providing affordable spaces to emerging businesses, to daycare centers, to artists, to community meetings. Like, this is an important part of what a lot of the churches, thousands of churches I work with, this is an important part of what they do. And it actually does make a huge impact on their budgets. Like, this saved so many churches from closure. And that's the thing that I'm most proud of with my business. I'm so proud that I'm able to offer these emerging businesses like affordable spaces that they could never find anywhere else. And I'm also able to help these churches keep their doors open and not shut down, because this, for a lot of churches, is the game changer that stops them from closing down. Amazing. And that's why sort of the moderator and all of these.
And you're national already in terms of you can onboard any church anywhere.
Yeah, so I can onboard any church anywhere in the world thanks to Bubble and this new platform. Previously, I was primarily working in Canada because I was doing a lot of one-on-one made-for-you consulting services and filling these churches in that way with these dynamic uses. But now with my Bubble platform, for the first time, this is any church, anywhere around the world, and I can do like an unlimited number at once for the first time. So I'm very excited about this new platform, and I'm glad that you brought this up because it was my opportunity to speak to this. Like, this, the scale of this is just incredible. I can't even believe it sometimes.
Okay, that's huge. Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys so much. Yes, we have 3 more founders left. We have Jose, the founder of Finch. And just as a reminder, please continue to put your comments and questions in the comments box. The founders are watching them and can respond to you.
Hey everyone, Jose Torres here, the founder of Finch. Finch is a legal marketplace that saves client and attorney time, money, and worry. So, an attorney myself, I spent 8 years helping other tech companies scale their legal and compliance programs before I decided to create my own firm. Now, in the run-up to this, I started talking to other solo practice and small group attorneys to understand what the market was. And the chief complaint I heard is that it takes too long to find customers. On average, these attorneys are spending 16 hours per week on client discovery. That's over $150,000 a year in hours that they can't bill for. Interestingly, when I start talking to people on the other side of the market, people who have used an attorney or elected not to, I heard a very similar complaint. Hey, it's really hard to find an attorney when I need one. Nationally, around 60% of people with a legal need will never connect with an attorney. Because of this, many of them are going to have an adverse outcome, or they're going to live with the anxiety of a pending adverse outcome. Now, specific to millennials living in urban areas, which is Finch's core demographic, there are really 3 key issues. 1, it takes too long. Assuming you even knew who to contact if you're in an emergency, you still won't be able to chat with them for about 2 weeks. Now, based on the nature of your issue, that may not be okay. We're also talking about the on-demand generation. For some people, it's simply a non-starter. Two, when you have that conversation, how do you evaluate their services, right? We don't have tools for that. Angie's List, Yelp, etc. They simply don't work for attorneys. And three, price is incredibly important, yet no attorneys list their price on their site. You typically aren't quoted to the end of this cycle, at which point you may not be able to afford them and you've wasted 2 weeks. So understanding there's a disconnect going on and being curious and having the time, I started thinking about what would a solution look like? I believe the marketplace model was right? We're talking about supply and demand. What we needed was for it to be a bit more smart. And when I say that, I'm talking about using data to connect people. If you were to reach out to some of the services on the market today, really two things are going to happen. They're going to charge the attorney a fee to be listed, and your request will go to the next available attorney on that list, or it's going to go to a general pool that the attorneys can share. That's a poor matching, and you're going to have a poor conversion. What we should be doing is scrapping that listing fee model, and then unencumbered, you have the ability to say, which attorney is the most compatible with our client's timeline, budget, etc. Right? Doing that, now you're adding value. You're creating a high match relationship that's more likely to convert, and you're saving both sides time, money, and worry. This is really the foundation for Finch. We offer 3 flat fee products beginning with a free consultation. And the consultation is really intended for you to understand what your options are. What are your rights? What does the path forward look like, and how much time might that be? Then based on that, you can purchase only what you need. And if you like the attorney you're working with, guess what? You can afford them and they're ready to start now. Second, it's personalized. We look at not only the nature of the request, but who's the person, right? Do you have language requirements? Is it important that you work with someone that you identify with? We can accommodate that. And third, it's on demand. If you come to our site, the goal is that you can start a consultation within 15 minutes. And if that doesn't work for you, because we're all incredibly busy, tell us when and how you prefer to connect, and we'll have an attorney contact you. Now, under the hood, we're envisioning kind of a split revenue model. Today, we are taking 2% on each transaction that we process for the attorneys. And later into 2022, the vision is to start to build some attorney side tools and then wrap that lead generation engine into an overall SaaS platform for attorneys. And then we can start assessing a subscription for use of those tools as well. Even at a low market share, you start to see the potential for really outsized returns. To date, we've just launched the beta for our project. We are operating in the Boston area, and we're really proud. We've helped 6 customers over 10 transactions, and we're already starting to see repeat users. And it's those repeat users that we're understanding who and what they are, because we really want to go after those populations. Our initial goal is really to focus on the client side, looking at some key partnerships with legal aid clinics and startup programs where there's a natural alignment of interests. So thank you. That is Finch, and check out the client side experience of our demo.
Into Finch, and we're going to start our first purchase. I'm going to say free consultation. If I wasn't sure, I could get some general quick tips on what is the best product for me. I'm going to put in a little bit of information, help with a contract, and then I'm going to choose the category that best fits me. In this case, I'll say business contracts, employment. I can also say I'm unsure. What's the best time and date to reach me? If you have this information populated in your profile, it'll show up here. If not, you can adjust. Now we're going to say connect, which takes you to the payment page. As this is a free product, you can sidestep the payment process and schedule for later, which you'll receive an email with the date, time, and method the attorney will reach you, or a chat now. Chat now is going to bring up a video window where you can engage in a free Zoom call with an attorney. Hitting play opens the conversation window and fires off an email to Finch on the back end. We'll then staff it or find an attorney to outsource that information to. Now that we've handled our basic request, we might want to see what's the general status. This is a status window where users can get an overview of the various requests they have out and the status of them. If you have a question, you can click the message icon here or navigate from the user nav, which will bring you to our email center. All of your emails are configured around a relationship. So all conversations between Jose and Tony, clicking right, will populate to the right here, and you can read them. Now, it's incredibly important for us to maintain attorney-client privilege. So to do that, upon send, all of the messages are encrypted, meaning not even Finch staff have access to that information. It takes a second the first time you hit send. The messages are then going to pop up here, and once you're ready to read, you can hit decrypt, and there's your message. In addition to messages, there's also a general profile information where you can change information, how to reach you, or any particular preferences, including budget, which is really important. Finally, there's payment settings where you can store a card to have a seamless shopping experience. And that is Finch. Thank you.
Jose, great job. Nice presentation. I just had a question around the numbers. So I was just jotting down, you mentioned you take 2% commission?
It's not commission, so it's structured as a payment processing fee. So we will take that after the money hits the attorney's account.
So that's your, I mean, that's what you're.
Yeah, that is Finch's cut, correct, yeah.
Got it. Okay. And how are you accepting that payment? By credit card? Like, how do you process? I'm just trying to understand, because if credit card processing charges you 3%, and if you're only getting 2%, for me, something is wrong there. So if you can just, I'm sure you have an answer. So
sure, I do. So we utilize the Stripe marketplace, and you're correct. So when you look at brand fees, interchange fees, those are about 2.5%. We're adding an additional 2% onto that. So the attorney will eventually see a 4% take out of there. But what's interesting is these are fees that they already are being taken out, right? We're just changing them from their current provider to us.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Of course.
How do you compare to like tools like LegalZoom, for instance? It's one of them that I know.
Yeah. So there are a variety of approaches to this. A lot of people trying to tackle it. I would actually say we're much closer to two companies called LegalQ or Law Champs. LegalZoom is really for DIY template based. What we're trying to do is really tackle kind of access to justice by removing the barriers people encounter. So, and those are mainly, can I quickly do this? Do I know it's affordable? And overall, do I have a simple experience? So that's what we're tackling. The goal here is to quickly provide you with the information you need to assess if an attorney is appropriate and how much time. And then to say, don't worry about searching. We found someone who's affordable and highly qualified.
And I would expect from a product standpoint, you're probably going to try to have like a mobile offering soon, right?
Correct. We started with the desktop because it was frankly a little easier to build. The next steps would be to maybe do
I think
a
it's the right
app.
way, by the way.
Thank you.
Very frequently. So, yeah.
And it's interesting, right? The competitors have actually taken both approaches. So LegalQ began with a mobile first, and Law Champ started with the desktop. But they're both operating in the same model, right? You just work with the next available. Whereas we're taking kind of a client and attorney centric view and say, let's use data to perfect this match.
Got it.
Hey, thank you so much for your presentation. Just in terms of revenue and kind of building momentum, what has been your biggest challenge so far, and what have you done to overcome that?
Yeah, great question. So we're still in the beta phase, operating out of Boston. I found attorneys, it's actually a lot easier at this stage to get them interested because, right, we don't get paid until you get paid. So there's no loss on their end. We're now looking to get more clients on that side because A, it's intended to help them, but two, that's an incredibly strong data point when we later want to start charging a subscription to the attorneys. So our plans going forward are to onboard a few more attorneys to really ensure coverage, and then to really go hard on legal aid clinics. So for every person they help, they unfortunately have to turn away 2 or 3 people. And for that population, we're really the next best solution. Second most is looking at startup programs like Immerse. As you guys know, when you're starting a business, there's a lot of legal questions, but not a lot of capital. So you really have to ensure you're getting a good price value for it. And that's something that Finch can offer.
And Jose, sorry, are you waiving like the retainer that usually most people have to pay if they're going to a traditional law firm?
So we come in before the attorney relationship is set up. What we are offering are the 3 consultation services, and we'll tell you the attorney's cost. At that point, you can elect to work with that attorney and provide a retainer.
Oh, got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay, Jose, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Spencer, the founder of Huddle Local.
Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Spencer, and I'm the founder of Huddle Local. It's an online platform that helps homeowners secure group discounts on home services by booking in groups with their neighbors. So let me tell you a little bit about how I got here. So back in 2019, my wife and I purchased our very first home. Now it's been incredible, but I soon found out just how many services were needed for maintaining a home. And I spent a lot of time trying to find the right businesses with the best prices. And a lot of times I had no idea how to evaluate if I was even choosing the right service provider. But it turns out I wasn't alone. I noticed that nearly every day I would see a post in our neighborhood Facebook group with people asking for a recommendation on some service. And that's kind of when it hit me. No one really wants to do this research. They just want someone they trust to tell them what to go with. So I wanted to really look into this more. And it turns out the problem with the on-demand service market is that it's extremely inefficient. Even with platforms like Yelp and Angie's List to match customers with service providers, people still prefer to ask their community. Why? Because finding and booking trustworthy home service providers is really time consuming, and the lack of transparency in pricing can make it really costly because it's not so easy to comparison shop between the companies. And the situation on the other side is just not much better for service providers. For them, managing and converting leads is difficult and expensive. And when a service provider gets a new lead through services like Yelp, they often have to drop everything that they're doing and quickly respond because that same lead is being sent to 4 or 5 of their competitors. So this often leads to really poor conversion rates for them, and that cost gets passed back to the customer. So it's really inefficient, and the cost is driven up both for homeowners and the service providers. In fact, in a recent Bankrate.com survey, they found that home maintenance cost is the #1 reason for regret over a home purchase. So this is a huge problem. So my solution is Huddle Local, which brings together trust, simplicity, and affordability all under one roof by aggregating demand within a localized area in order to negotiate cheaper rates on these services. So neighbors can actually leverage each other in the booking process, and service providers can get more leads more efficiently. All right, so how does this work? So when a user comes to Huddle Local, they can browse from a list of scheduled services happening near them, and these are called huddles. And when they see something they like, they can instantly book a service by joining a huddle. And the best part about Huddle is that as more people join the group, the steeper the discount. So for example, for the first person, the discount is 5%, and with the second person, it goes up to 10% for everyone. So you're really encouraged to share the Huddle with your neighbors so they can join in too. Now, the on-demand services market is a $600 billion market and expected to grow over $1 trillion by 2026. But we're tackling the $158 billion spent on home maintenance services every year. And this comprises the majority of millennials, as they are the fastest growing demographic of homeowners in the country, making up 37% of the national home buyers. So for pricing, today Huddle Local is free for homeowners. And we're charging service providers 5% commission for each lead that they accept on the platform. And our leads are actually ready to book customers, so the lead quality is actually much higher for the service providers. All right, so in terms of traction, we are pre-launch, but I've already tested 3 huddles within my neighborhood with my neighbors, so that's really helped me understand exactly what to build. And in total, I've made over $1,600 of incremental revenue for the service providers and saved my neighbors $300 collectively due to the discounts I was able to negotiate. So what's next for Huddle Local? We're launching in my local neighborhood in the Seattle area early next year, but we plan to use the funds from this pitch to acquire new users and businesses for the platform. We'll be posting in local Facebook groups and neighborhood groups and advertising in the community newsletters. All right, so my name is Spencer, and I'm the founder of Huddle Local. I've worked on commerce and ads products at Google for over 7 years, helping people book from Google Search. And now I'm working to make home service booking dead simple for you and your community. That's why I'm also announcing the Huddle Host program. And this is an early invite for you to bring Huddle Local to your neighborhood when we're ready to expand. You'll be the champion for your community and earn rewards with us as a partner. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Bubble and the Immerse team for this great opportunity. Let's jump into the product demo. The first thing you want to understand about Huddle is that it's a social browsing experience, not a search-based one like Yelp or Google. So there's no obvious search function. What's most important is your location, as this gives you access to the group bookings, what we call huddles, in your area. Now, after you sign in, you're immediately taken to the list of available huddles sorted by date. A countdown timer lets you know just how long you have to join the huddle before it expires, as well as an indication of how many spots are available. You'll also see the type of service, business name, date, time of day, and discounted price right up front. When you see something that works for you, just click Join. And you're taken to a page to confirm the booking information, and you can see even more details about the service that you're getting. You can check that your personal information is correct from signing up. Lastly, click Book Now. And that's it. In just a couple of clicks, your spot is reserved in the Huddle booking and the service provider is notified. The best part about Huddle is that as more people book in your Huddle, the cheaper the discount. So you're encouraged to share the same Huddle in Facebook groups where people are already asking for recommendations. Now let's say none of the options work for you. You can always start a new request. By starting a new request, you can browse the available service providers, send them a request, select all of your preferences of the date and time of day, check your information, and click Send Request. And back on your Huddle page, you can view the status of your pending requests, upcoming requests, or past Huddles. And on the other side, service providers can log in and manage those requests. They can accept or decline the lead. When a lead is accepted, the requested information becomes available to them. They can also add Huddles themselves to fill their own availability. Lastly, under Settings, homeowners can set their notification preference to be notified when new Huddles are added, and they can even watch for certain services. There you have it. We look forward to bringing Huddle Local to a neighborhood near you.
This is really cool. So in terms of go-to-market, you're starting from a neighborhood by neighborhood. So I guess starting on the demand side, how do you work on the supply side?
Yeah, so interesting. Actually, it's really the supply side that I do actually start with. So the way that it works, what has worked so far, is that when I've tested this out, I've looked at contacted different businesses and asked them, hey, would you be willing to give a group discount if I got multiple people to book with me? So that's how I usually start the conversation with them. And from that point, I'm able to then send out the message to my neighbors. And then, they say, oh yeah, great, I would love to, get the service too. And then they contact the business. And so that's how it's worked because it's been manual. But once I get more of these service providers on the platform, not only can our neighbors request them, but when they have when they're coming to a neighborhood and they're let's say they're going to a neighborhood that they don't normally go to, they just want to fill up their spots because it's out of the way or something like that, they can actually post a huddle, and anyone in that neighborhood can then join it. So really populating the platform with service providers is actually one of the key things, and looking for them based off of the recommendations that we're already getting in our community groups is kind of where I really want to start. So yeah, it's the service providers are the key. I've actually got my first customer this past week because of Bubble, and being able to continue to go after them and look at for more of the service providers to get on the platform.
And why not starting on this demand side? Like, I feel like there could be some advertising or something, strategies that could bring, like suddenly if you have like, 20 families or something in the neighborhood, I would expect the supply to come pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's more because the demand side can actually be acquired pretty quickly. And based off of, because there are already like communities where people are looking kind of for this information already. So, once I say, put out there like, hey, would anyone want to get this, this service? Like I get responses immediately. In fact, the first one that I did, I told my neighbors, and then about 5 minutes, the company that I booked with called, messaged me back and said, hey, 2 of your neighbors have already called in. So it was pretty quick. I saw someone say HOAs. Yeah, they're different kind of ways to get the demand side built up. And just needing to get the service providers like on board with this is kind of that first thing, because it's different for them. They're used to paying for leads, but it doesn't usually work out for them. So they're a little shy about like another lead generation platform. But the ones that I work with, they're immediately blown away by how quickly they got so many more leads for a lot cheaper, without having to, pay, they pay 3 to 5 times more than what I plan to charge them. And so it's much more costly for them and a lot poorer quality. These are ready to book customers. So I think I can get those service providers. It's going to be a little bit harder because they're not used to this model.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll just ask a question. So thanks for that presentation. I'm sorry, just for clarification, do you have to be in a neighborhood and does the work have to be conducted at the same time? I'm just trying to understand how the discount actually works with the neighborhood effect.
Yeah, so ideally, that this is going to be location based. So each member who joins is going to be joining a part of a neighborhood. And so the idea here is aggregating demand into a really localized area, so that when the service provider comes out there, they are also benefiting from going to a single neighborhood to do multiple jobs. So basically, if your neighbor down the street says, they're going to get their windows washed, and you hadn't thought about getting your windows washed, but all of a sudden you get a notification that says someone's going to be in your area washing windows. You look out, my window's dirty too. I'm just going to join that, and on that same day they come to me. So location is important because it really helps to make the economics a lot better for everyone.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Hey Spencer, thank you so much for this presentation. Really quickly, hyperlocal is everything. It was a big deal for our business model as well. Where do you see your company huddle and everything in say 5 years?
Yeah, so I'm with the platform, it makes it so much easier to scale this. I'm hoping that in 5 years, this is something that I can almost kind of make automatic, where anyone in any community, whether they're on the platform or not, can create their neighborhood if they wanted to, kind of set up the system, really community driven, and kind of do this for themselves. So I would hope that this is to make this a lot more self-service all around, and you can pop up this in your neighborhood and say, hey, instead of everyone asking for recommendations on the Facebook group, like week in and week out on the same types of services, like let's just come together and let's try to get better rates by working closer together with these businesses and set it up just like that. So in 5 years, I'm hoping this is just popping up in neighborhoods all over the country.
And what's your biggest hurdle in the short term, and what is your strategy for overcoming it?
Yeah, biggest hurdle in the short term is, as I'm reaching out to these service providers, just convincing them that this works out better for them. One of the things I did just a couple weeks ago was talking to a service provider. I set up a booking form. I said, hey, look, just to try this out with me, I'm going to schedule with you, and I'm going to tell my neighbors. And if we get other people, like this is how it works. And he's stoked, and he can't wait to kind of continue to use it. This was without even being on the platform itself. I just did again manually. But as I have the platform, it's that stickiness for them. They get to kind of get the benefits. They can set up for themselves. They can set up that huddle and then get businesses like automatically in my neighborhood they might not have had access to before. So it's really, that's really the biggest challenge, is to get those service providers just like signing up because they see the value.
Awesome. Yeah, hyperlocal, no one has cracked the code. So it's a huge opportunity. So great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Spencer. And so last but not least, we have Taylor, who's the founder of Check-In.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Taylor Joffron, and I'm the founder of Check-In, the future of auto servicing experiences, connecting car owners with local auto repair shops. Let me tell you my story. So by trade, I'm a product marketer in the enterprise technology space. And essentially what we do is we solve complex business problems with modern day technology. Now, I love technology. Trust me, that's why I'm in the business. But my truest passion is being a huge car enthusiast. And I'm talking like car nerd, car geek. So it's probably no surprise to you that a lot of friends and family come to me when they have problems with their cars. In fact, it was helping a friend find a nearby auto repair shop that I was inspired to see if I could apply technology to this problem as well, just like I do in my day-to-day job. So I did some research. I talked to people that I've helped with this problem before. I went and interviewed a lot of local auto repair shops. And sure enough, just as I expected, I found a few common problems. Now, for car owners, there was no convenient way for them to find local auto repair shops. There was a common method. It was Google a bunch of nearby shops, read the reviews, and then cold call every single one of them until they found an offer that they were satisfied with. And here's the thing, this could be incredibly time consuming, or it could be incredibly frustrating, especially when you don't know a lot about cars and you're talking to people you don't know at all. So here's the problem for local auto repair shops. There was no easy way for them to increase local exposure without resorting to old methods, things like word of mouth, things like paid advertisement, which, by the way, for those smaller mom and pop shops, they don't always have budget for that. Now, for car owners and auto repair shops, there's no common platform providing a simple, consistent, repeatable process. So I got to work. I came up with a solution, and that solution is Check-In. For car owners in need of repair and maintenance, all they do is fill out one request, and they're immediately connected with multiple auto repairs. And guess what? They also receive multiple offers for services. Now, for auto repair shops, it's one subscription and endless opportunities. They can have an unlimited pipeline of nearby demand, all looking for their services. Now, for car owners and auto repair shops, it's one platform and one experience, delivering a simple, consistent, repeatable, reliable process. Now, that's what I call a win-win. And the time is now. We live in an era of convenience. You can literally order anything you want from your couch and it shows up at your front door. Everything comes to you. You can literally buy a car from your couch and it shows up in your driveway. Now, this level of convenience is expected across industries, and the auto servicing industry is listening to this trend. In fact, from all the local auto repair shops that I talked to, 100% of them wanted to modernize their services with technology. But guess what? 85% of them don't have a digital customer experience whatsoever. Here's another reason why the time is now. There's a huge gap in the market. Most of the competitors are indirect competitors. They're search and review sites. None of them have catered to the auto servicing experience for consumers. And the closest competitor is Your Mechanic, which is a niche-based company. It only focuses on mobile mechanics, not your full-service traditional mom and pop shops or repair shops like what Check-In is servicing. So speaking of competitors, what are the advantages of Check-In? Well, for car owners, it's simply put, it's convenience. No more cold calling a bunch of different shops. You let the auto shops come to you. Filling out a request is fast, simple, easy, and oh yeah, free. And guess what? It's more than reviews too. Check-In actually helps facilitate the auto servicing process, from connecting car owner to auto repair shop to storing digital representations of repair documentation. Yeah, that means that there's no more crumpled up pieces of paper in your glove box. And for auto shops, it's the same. They get to make the first move. No more waiting for customers to reach out to them. They can proactively engage customers and actively differentiate their business from the others. Also, it's digital made easy. They can provide a digital customer experience without the complications of integrating other costly, complex technology. Check-in is a standalone platform and it doesn't interfere with business. And trust me, that's a huge pain point. Now, if you liked what you've heard so far, be sure to find us on Facebook and at Check-in Auto and give us a like. Thank you so much for coming tonight and listening to our presentations. Now let's take a look at the app. Welcome to Check-in.
Users can access all the controls they need to operate inside the app. Right now, we're logged in as a user named John. John just got a new truck and unfortunately got into a minor accident and needs repairs to his truck. Since the truck is new, he'll have to add it to his garage. Here he can add quick details about his vehicle, upload an image of the vehicle, and add the vehicle to his garage. Now he can create a service request with this vehicle. To create a request, click the Add Request button and select his vehicle from the drop-down above. He can then select the repairs that he needs, body and paint in this case, and add a quick description of the repairs that need to be done as well. He can also upload a photo of the damage as well. Once the request has been submitted, it'll appear as an open request to all nearby auto shops. John can take a look at his personal request right here and see the offers that have come into at this point. In a matter of no time, John receives his first offer from Midas. He can click on the offer to view the offer details and accept it if everything looks okay. Now John can see the provider details and see where the shop is located and also contact them with their contact information. During the course of his visit to the shop, John will receive documents from Midas. To view these documents, he can go to the Files Shared tab. Here John can see the parts invoice shared by Midas. He can enlarge the document to view it in better detail. Once the service has been complete, John can go back and reference its information at any point in time. Now let's take a look at the same transaction from the provider side. Currently, we're logged in as a local Midas. We see John's new request here at the top of the list. We can see that no other shops have made an offer, so we're going to go ahead and be the first ones. Creating an offer is simple. All you have to do is write the details of the services that you're able to provide the requester. Once Midas fills out the details and submits the offer, John will see the offer pop up in his dashboard. Midas will be able to see any other offers that are made and view and edit their own as well. John has accepted Midas's offer, and now Midas has the ability to share documentation with him. To do that, Midas will click on the document icon and upload the necessary documentation and give it a name. Once Midas clicks share, the document is now viewable by John, and he will receive an email that the document is available. Once Midas has completed their services on John's truck, they can mark the service request complete. It'll appear among their complete requests, and they can reference it at any point in time, as well as reopen it if John ever has to come back for any additional reason.
Oh, I lost your audio.
You're mute, Nancy.
Sorry, hi, I'm back. Thanks for that. That was really well done. I know exactly how it feels to go to a mechanic and get something fixed. So this is awesome. So I guess my question is, are there any other like verticals other than cart owners that you see perhaps providing this platform to or additional revenue streams?
Yeah, fantastic question. I'm glad you brought it up right out of the box. So my goal or the vision for Check-in is I want to perfect the platform itself in an industry that I know really well, which is the automotive industry. And essentially, this concept can be applied to any service-based industry, literally anyone. In fact, it's so funny. I probably could have used something like this a while ago. I was just thinking, I recently renovated my bathroom, and the reason why I did it myself was because I couldn't find anyone nearby. So it would have been awesome if I could have created a request, hey, I'd like some custom tile. These are the specifications of my bathroom. Here are the things, who in this area can provide me these services? I would have loved that. But there are so many other industries just like that could benefit from a platform just like this.
Yeah, no, very great job. Yep.
Thank you.
What does the competitive landscape look like? Are other people trying to do this?
At the moment, not this specifically. No, like I said, the closest competitor right now is Your Mechanic, and it's a nice mobile application that is focused on basically making it convenient for people to get their cars repaired, but it's only focusing on mobile mechanics. So basically, like, they can have a mobile mechanic come to their driveway, up to their work. But the thing is, mobile mechanics are a bit limited. They're not as able to do full-on repair. Like, you can't necessarily do a auto body repair in someone's driveway. Most people are used to full service auto repair shops, and that's what my platform is focused on. And this model, the one request, multiple connections, and then the actual facilitation of the process, I want this to be an end-to-end solution so that the customer at any point in time can go to this app and everything's done right there in one place.
So how much traction have you had so far? How many people have been using it?
Well, you've seen the majority of the traction just now, and this is a shameless plug for sure for for Bubble and the Immerse program. I walked into this program with a wireframe and research that I've done with product market fit, and I was able to build not just one side of a two-sided marketplace, but both sides of a marketplace in just a few weeks. So this has been honestly a lot of the traction that I needed to get going. And I'm so looking forward to building more and building a community, building a team, and really building the presence around this so that we can get this out into the market fast.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
I love it. Where are you in 5 years? As quickly as you want to answer.
In 5 years, I want this to be the go-to platform for everything car auto services related. I want this to be, at least for providers, the auto service repair shops. If they're not on this app, they're missing out on a huge pipeline of customers. I want this to be the go-to convenient platform. And then I want, at 5 years, I want to be looking into other industries where I can apply this concept. So I'm really looking forward to getting a lot of traction, a lot faster, and really going for it.
How do you get there?
How do I get there? Well, a lot of that has to do with making really strategic partnerships. So part of the model is making partnerships with both international and, national and local franchises. There's lots of them. If I can make a deal with a Firestone, a Midas, where they're helping me roll out this platform because they realize that there are some customers that won't show up at the shop or won't call them on the phone, but will send them send a request. Partnering with people like those, and also catering to those smaller mom and pop shops. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I walked into a shop, and when I was interviewing, I asked them, how are they keeping track of customers and that come in? It was in an Excel spreadsheet. Now, in this platform, they have that kind of built in, and they also get, again, way more visibility locally than just a Google business ad. So making partnerships with them as well to help them expand their local exposure. And then, of course, no opportunity wasted. I want the platform itself to be a social media giant. I want people to be able to share their experiences, how easy it was to get stuff done, posting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all their experiences and getting the word out there, telling their friends. So yeah, there's lots of ways to expand, and I plan on hitting all of them.
Awesome. Thanks, Taylor. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Taylor. So that's the end of the pitches, everyone. So the judges are going to deliberate. They're going to take the next 15 minutes or so, and we're going to just have a chat about your fan favorite in a moment. So judges, why don't you go ahead and exit, and we'll be coordinating with you guys for your entry. So just someone actually said this in the chat, but this is certainly, I think, what I'm most proud of for this cohort. First of all, congratulations on all of you that presented. But I think what I'm most proud of is that you can really truly see a range of individuals and what they've built here. So for all the entrepreneurs in the audience here who are thinking about using no code and using Bubble to build out their next great idea, like this is a visual representation of what is possible. And so what all of you might be doing now is helping us choose our crowd favorite. And while this is happening, there's a few things I wanted to do. One, for this audience that has stuck with us this long and really took the time to hear out our founders and hear them really tell you about their businesses and preview their apps, I'm really excited to announce that applications are open for Cohort 4. And so if you have gotten a lot of inspiration from seeing these founders present and really present phenomenal apps, I think someone mentioned it before, this is truly just step one for all of them, right? They're going to continue to build out what their product vision is, go out and test and get customers. If you want to be next, now's your time. So please apply. Go to bubble.io/immerse, and I will be looking forward to seeing your application and helping you build out what your product vision is. And so while you guys are doing this poll, I'm really excited to bring up another guest here to show you what is possible with Bubble. And that is Milan. She is the founder of Falon in our cohort, in the third cohort. And she's going to come up with me and we're going to talk about their Immerse program. And rather than show you guys a commercial of sort, you know, so you can just get like some high level sort of summary information about the program, you will get the opportunity to hear from Milan and her tell you about her experience in the program.
Nicole, I'm so happy to join you.
Hi, Milan. How's it going?
Oh, we don't have a video.
Uh-oh, no video on your end? Well, we can start chatting. If the video works at some point, that would be great.
There we go. We got it.
Oh, there we go. Okay, welcome. Welcome. Okay, thanks for joining us, Milan.
Thanks for
having me. Why don't you tell everyone, I was really excited to come across your application because I think a lot of people have tried to do this. A lot of people, this particular generation, and I think Harmony spoke to this a bit, has different thoughts about fashion, right? And they are choosing things based on their mission and vision and, you know, their ethics and all of these other things. And so I'm really excited for you to share what your business is about. And then we'll get into the specifics about the Immerse program.
Right. Okay. So Falon, I mean, I'm happy that you brought up fashion. So that is my background. My first job out of college, I was a buyer in the fashion industry, and I kept coming across at trade shows these incredible socially impact driven brands. And I would go back to my CEO to try to get them on our platform at the time. It just wasn't, it just didn't work out. And so I, decided I have a very big heart for philanthropy and altruistic goals and volunteerism. And Falon was really started out as the crosshairs between fashion and philanthropy. We hope to be the next, the next leading platform in consumer activism. In the last 2 years, we saw that people really want to take advantage of the power of their wallet, the power of their purchase. And I really envision, a future economy of consumer impact. With Falon, I hope to be the consumer impact power grid, and that's just transforming the socially motivated consumer to close the wealth gap globally. And I was able to build our MVP and pivot a little bit in the program. Yep. Nicole knows.
Yep.
Which was critical. Which we'll get into that, but yeah, we're starting with a platform. We're going to grow into a network and then expand into the economy that I know is going to be there.
So why don't you talk us through your process of deciding to build your MVP in Bubble?
Yeah, okay. So I have hopped around a few different no-code platforms, and honestly, nothing compares to what you can actually build in Bubble. Bubble has this creative freedom, and you are genuinely building from scratch. You have a blank slate, but you also have all of these resources to, decide what's going to work best to achieve exactly what it is that you want. I mean, just to reiterate, I feel so lucky to know everyone that presented today, because everyone is so gifted, not only in their individual pursuits, but just seeing how everyone approached their app development in such different ways, but to execute such amazing products. So Immerse is, it's the best advocate for what you can do on Bubble. And I, am so happy to continue my career as a Bubble developer and, be able to launch Flan and be the serial entrepreneur that I always wanted to be. So.
Yeah, so when we were wrapping up our last cohort session, so I believe it was Spencer who commented that, there's no turning back after this, right? All of you guys are visual programmers. So can we talk about just from a feature perspective, what you're excited about building out with your product now that you had an idea, you started it and you realized, that's the other part of this, right? You guys are building products, but then there's the business side and there's other insights and other things that you guys are coming across as you're building. So can you tell us about how that pivot that you made in the product and what's happening next?
Absolutely. So we began as a two-sided marketplace. And in our testing phase, which was halfway through the program, I learned working with some of the brands that we were able to, backstory, I have a large brand network. And so that was the first strategy for us to grow our platform. That was the, initial audience. And so as I was testing our app, I would meet with these founders and they would say, we have a lot of marketplaces. So what I learned is that brands don't need another marketplace. Consumers need an easier way of finding them. And so we kind of shifted to focus on being able to connect people with the socially responsible brands that they don't know how to search for. When you look up on Google, you're just kind of find, top searches for Black-owned brands, a bunch of SEO-driven magazine or digital publication articles. And so that was, the original plan. We were just going to link people to one another. And that's definitely a need. But on the back end, from the consumer side, consumers also don't know how to measure their impact and how to, that was one of the biggest questions. People want to know if what they're spending is actually going to be useful. Millennials and Gen Z were the top performing donors in the last 2 years as far as individual giving and philanthropy. Wow. And so we see even with, TikTok trends, how there are people who will donate 60 cents, 5 cents into something, and it'll grow into a $2 million fund for someone that's in need. Philanthropy in itself has this huge misconception that it's only for the wealthy. And I really want to break that down. Philanthropy is offering your time, your talent, your treasure, and that can come in the form of a business. And so as businesses that are socially motivated, we're doing our best to show people how to connect with them. But the next phase of Flan is building out our consumer impact tool. So people will actually be able to track the impact that they're making. And that comes in a variety of ways. That's coming down to, yes, financials. There is that financial aspect, but that's also coming down to the local impact of the different founders behind the brands that we bring onto the platform. So, I have a few companies that are based in Africa, that are, ethical trade founded, but, they're bringing, different artists and communities together to stimulate their individual economies. And that is really what's going to power the future of, the social impact economy that I know is going to develop in the future.
Oh, that's really fantastic. I mean, that's something I came across about you about you in the very early stages when we started having a conversation about what you wanted to build, that you were super passionate about, the space. And I think that's the same for all of you. And I think people in the audience saw that today. And so now that you have like this new skill set of being like a Bubble developer, are you going to be continuing to build out your product yourself? Like, how have you thought about these various things for the impact reporting, right? Like, are you going to be building that yourself?
Yes, I'm going to continue building. I mean, the point of Bubble, the point of Immerse is to become your own CTO. I came into this with a fashion background, a bit unconventional to then make a pivot to focus on tech, but Bubble has allowed me to do that. And so I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. I am going to give a shameless plug to Will and his company that's also a verified bubble, platform that I am so excited to, continue my career pursuits as a bubble developer. So I am very excited about that. And, there are teaching opportunities in that as well. So I'll be able to sophisticate our platform as well, just being able to shadow the other developers in the team and just continue this ride.
Yeah. In case anyone didn't understand that, she is now going on to continue increasing her skills actually as a bubble developer and teach other people how to develop. So this is something that I really want to highlight, because oftentimes people don't understand with business, right? Sometimes you'll make something or bring a solution to life and it might not be the right time, right, in the market for that particular thing. But what has happened over the past couple of cohorts is that you have people pursuing their businesses and growing their startups, right? And other folks who are pivoting and actually they've picked up an entirely new skill set and are going forward, building tech for other people, right? So it's just really fantastic to see you do both, Milan, and certainly in this entire cohort, see all of you move forward with this new skill set and decide, where you want to go from here. And so I'd like to talk a bit about sort of like the features of the program that has supported you, right? So the other night we ended on this note, giving superlatives to every single individual here, because we have spent that much time with each other, to getting to know each other. And so I'd love for you to just give some insight to the people here who don't get to see that community aspect of our cohort, right? Can you talk to that?
Yeah, and I laugh because my superlative was I do all the things. So, or most likely to do all the things, because we have a lot of assignments throughout the program. But yeah, I mean, I thought going into that session that my superlative would actually be most likely to take the longest in our breakout sessions. So every cohort we have, or every meeting that we have these breakout sessions where we get to connect with everyone. And I mean, point blank, I will try to draw extra time just to chat with whoever it is I'm one-on-one with or in a group with, because everyone is so interesting and that time is so valuable. The way that we've connected offline, supporting one another's businesses, even being able to connect with some of the mentors that have come on to speak, and then offline having those resources as well has been phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, that's like a short answer, but
No, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate the time, Milan, and just like the rest of your cohort, I'm just blown away and inspired by what you guys have built over the last, couple of weeks. It really feels like it's been a long time, but really it's been, it's only been 10 weeks and you guys have been able to turn out some amazing products. And so I'm so looking forward to see what happens next, and, to building out like the rest of this Immerse community to support you guys as you go forward. So really, really excited about that. And so our judges, we're going to give them a few more minutes for all of them to come back. And I think with that being said, I'd love for you, maybe just sort of to wrap this up here, I'd love for you to just give some last minute advice to anyone here who's planning on applying to Cohort 4. How would you tell them to prepare for this opportunity?
Oh my goodness. I would say first off to make sure that to make sure that you're prepared to really dedicate yourself to the time to be patient in learning Bubble. When I first found Bubble, it was about a year and a half ago, and it can be intimidating in the beginning, but you really need to stick to your guns, and you will come out of it so strong. You will come out of this program feeling like you can literally do anything. And that's how I feel leaving it, just knowing how challenging it might appear in the beginning, but a wonderful instructor like Will, and then also yourself that's guiding us through the process, you'll have your hand held. I would definitely say in preparing to actually apply, just really build out your idea. You don't have to have a fully fledged concept. I know a few people in our program didn't and turned out these incredible business models. But yeah, just be a visionary as best you can be. Not everyone's even creative that ends up in a Bubble cohort. And as a founder, we all have to put on different hats. And so this is just another hat that you get to learn how to put on, you learn how to wear. You know, the last thing that I would say, and this is an analogy I use throughout the program, be okay with moving at a glacial pace because you're building depth, not speed. And I think in anything that you're doing, exactly what needs to happen for you will happen for you. And you need to be okay with pacing yourself through the process. People learn at different paces. You don't want to rush through something that you're not sure about, and then arrive at a product that you don't know, you know, and there's an unfamiliarity. And so, yeah, I think you can kind of take that into anything that you do, but that's what's kept me through this program, you know, moving at a glacial pace. You can only see the top of what's working, but you know how much depth is being built beneath. So, you know, beneath the surface. So that's what I would leave you with.
Thank you so much, Milan. I really, really appreciate that advice there. And I think it's a really great, great way to end this chat with you, because certainly I think there's a lot of questions, right, when you're building in Bubble about the pace, right? Like, how fast can I turn something out? And, you know, being out like a year ahead of you guys, as I explained to you guys, I was in the inaugural program, I'm still learning, right? And so for this cohort, it's certainly the beginning, as I've been saying, and I'm so excited to continue supporting you all. And so with that being said, I am really excited. I have heard that it was a tough negotiation. And it really is because you guys have built so many different, or represent so many various different industries, and have built so many different products. And so first, I just want to, again, like, thank all of you for the time and effort you put into this. And, you know, certainly thank the people who have supported you, the Immerse Mentor Network. Also thank Will. Thank you so much for teaching these founders, for really giving them a fantastic foundation from which to build going forward. So with that being said, I'm really excited to announce our first prize, which is the fan favorite. So wherever you are globally, worldwide, please help me with a drum roll here. And our fan favorite tonight is Jordana, the founder of Activate Space, who has won 6 months of Bubble. And as you guys heard from her, she's launching, if not already has launched this business. So this will be super helpful for her as her platform is going out into the real world.
Congrats.
And next, best product. We have best product going to, drumroll please, Taylor, the founder of Check-In. Congratulations, Taylor. And last but not least, best pitch, drumroll please. This will be going to Jeremy Wells, the founder of Bee Killers. Congratulations. So Jeremy here will be winning a $5,000 equity-free cash prize. Congratulations, Jeremy. And so if you guys want to say any few words here, actually the judges are going to say a few words about this deliberation, and then we'll give you guys, the winners, the opportunity to say a word or two before Emmanuel closes.
You should unmute yourself, Nancy.
I'm trying to be respectful with my muting. Okay, I'm back. You're all winners in my book. Anybody that, you know, come on a stage and pitch and present and build a product through Bubble, I really applaud you. Like I said, you're all winners, and I really wish all of you the best of luck. The winners for tonight, congratulations. And hopefully next year will be bigger and better. That's all I can say.
Absolutely, I concur. Amazing job to everyone. Pitch competitions are the best and the worst at the same time. I've been there, done that, and I just want to applaud everyone. Congrats to all the winners, and if you need any additional support, we are here for you. The Bubble community is here for you. And when you apply your genius to a unique opportunity that hasn't been met in the marketplace, this is how we change the world. So I'm proud of all of you guys.
Nicole, you want me to go now for some closing remarks, or should we get the winners to say?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, certainly. Emmanuel, please. Well, actually, I mean, if you wanted to give your judging remarks, I also want to give the founders an opportunity to say a word or two before you actually close out.
I'll close at the end.
Okay. All right. So our winners, do you want to say a word or two before we close out the night?
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you all so much. This is such an honor to be here today. I think everyone wins, honestly, from just being here tonight and being a part of this program. I am so proud of literally everyone. I can't thank you guys enough. My cohort, you, Nicole, Will, Jennifer, Barbara, the entire team. I mean, you guys have literally delivered a miracle. I mean, to walk into this not having a lick of experience in web development whatsoever and walking out with an actual MVP, a two-side, I mean, that's just incredible to me. And the amount of hard work that everyone has put in, I think everyone has grown massively from this. I mean, wearing different hats, doing things I don't think anyone ever thought they were probably able to do. And, you know, this is just such an amazing experience. And I'm lost for words. Thank you all so much. I really do. I have so much love for all of you.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's been incredible the way that I've just been able to scale my business with Bubble. And I would encourage you all, anyone watching anywhere in the world, to head to activatespace.io. If you're looking for affordable space in your neighborhood to start your thing, you can find it there. We're still acquiring more and more churches and more neighborhoods, but as we grow, as we take on more investors and supporters, and with Bubble on our side too, there will be more spaces in your neighborhood before you know it. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, so I'm blown away. I'm still kind of like letting everything sink in, to be honest. When I came into this, I had no idea how it was gonna go. I had no idea that we would all work together so well. Like, it was just like such a team like exercise. Like, I was expecting like a college classroom of sorts where you just sit there and you do the work and you go home and you don't really communicate, but like, it's been such a team building exercise. It feels like we were all on the same team helping each other build our products out, which was like just amazing, because it's hard to find people that have the same kind of vision that you do, and like that are willing to help you. Everybody's willing to help each other with their problems. Our Slack, I hope we can keep our Slack because it's awesome, but I don't know if that'll work, but it's great. Like, we just all work together. If somebody has a problem, we jump in and answer it. We work together to figure it out. And I want to thank everybody for helping me make my product good, because without you guys, I wouldn't have been able to. So Nicole, Will especially, but even they're the ones that led the cohort, but just the members in the cohort. Like, the reason all of our products are good is because we all work together to help our products be good. So I just want to say thanks to everybody that, you know, helped each other develop, and thanks to everybody that came to this as well, and Emmanuel for building Bubble, obviously. So
well, let's not forget Josh. Josh is there as well.
Thank you, Spence. I mean, thank you, Jeremy, Taylor, and Jordana. We appreciate those comments so much. And I also wanted to thank Diogene Cook, who's from my cohort, who ran our office hours on Fridays. I mean, this really, truly is a community effort, building out this Bubble, this Bubble, specifically Immerse community. So thank you, Diogene, for volunteering your time to this cohort. They have great apps because of all the help that they had around them. So thank you. And now I'll hand it over to Emmanuel to close us out for the night.
It's a lot of pressure to close such an amazing night. I mean, it was a tough negotiation. I wish we could have given more prices, honestly. Like, every product that we've seen, that we saw today, was, I think, very much something that could go to market and could actually make a real impact. And that's, I want to congrats everyone here, because that was like a big thing, and 10 weeks is actually a pretty short time to get something to that level. So congratulations. I also want to say thank you to the fellows also, and everyone obviously who came, but to the fellows first and foremost, because I know you guys are trusting us here to start your companies and run your businesses. And this is not a little ask here that we're asking you to do, and we'll do anything we can to help you go, regardless, by the way, of who won here. Like, so yes, please be in touch if we can help you as you build your businesses. At the end of the day, your success is our success as a platform, and we'll do anything we can. We'll think about creative ways maybe to engage the team more so that they can support you in different ways than just the usual support that you guys get from the team when you have an issue. And so yeah, thank you very much. I'm very much looking forward to the next cohort. And then congrats everyone. Have a great night. And I'm feeling very energized today by that, and that's awesome.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.